Hey everybody, Dom Nicastro, managing editor, CMSWire, back with a familiar face at this point. Brianna Langley Henderson, regional customer experience and marketing manager at Waste Connections. What's going on?
Hi, I'm back in the adult world after maternity leave, and it's
I know,
really, really nice to be back.
I know. So it must have came to a point where like, this is nice to be like a mother and everything. And then it must have been like, I want to get back to work.
Oh, that happened about 2 weeks into maternity.
Is 2 weeks in?
After 2 weeks of changing diapers, I was
Yeah.
pretty ready.
So tell our listeners who you brought into this world.
Oh, Arlo, he's rotten. He's 3 months old on tomorrow, on Friday, September 1st.
Happy
So depending on when you're
birthday.
watching this video, yeah.
Yeah. Oh man, that's so cool.
Yeah.
But looking at did I say happy birthday, by the way? It's not is what's September 1st again? Is it
It's tomorrow. Happy month day. I don't
month
know. It's
day?
his
Okay, I said
3 month
birthday.
his
I'm
three
like,
month anniversary
I'm
of
like, the
life.
dude's not a year old. I'm like, you already just said he's 3 months. I'm like, happy birthday, sounding like Frosty. But nonetheless, Arlo's in the world now, and he's obviously going to be a CX leader someday.
Yeah. He's whatever
Naturally.
he's gonna be a change maker for sure. He's already
Yeah.
like learning to talk back and and question authority and
He'll be looking at this video and say, Mom, seriously? Like you did a Zoom. Like how old fashioned are you?
I know.
Um, you
Isn't
know,
that funny?
yeah, all his voice of the customer and video analytics will be much different then when he gets out there in the world. But you're back and you didn't let maternity leave stop you. You filed an article, this one on voice of the customer and AI. It's so crucial. I mean, all of our analytics, our readers are just like super high on this. It's all of our data says that you put CX and AI in a headline, you're going to get some interest. So I
Yeah,
benefited from that. ChatGPT articles always do wonderfully,
absolutely.
but for a practitioner like you, it comes down to making things actionable. So, what's the big takeaway here with VOC and AI and the impact and sort of the transformation it's going to have, you think?
So, I mean, this is going to sound really obvious, I think, but traditionally VOC has been very manual. It's a lot of manual data mining. It's a lot of manual data structuring. And I think that's the biggest thing. I mean, again, not to sound super elementary, but I think the biggest thing is just going to be the cost and time saving aspect that AI is going to bring to VOC as far as actually collecting and making sense of the data.
Yeah.
Especially when it comes to like speech analytics. That I think that's really the big one because obviously you can gather data from emails and chatbots and social media and written text, right? But the speech analytics part is what I'm especially excited about.
Yeah, if you could look at your own program, your own voice of the customer program as a CX leader, say a year and a half ago, right? Versus now, like, so what did it look like a year and a half ago, and how's it look now, and how's it gonna look for you personally?
Oh, for me personally, oh, that's a
Yeah.
good question. Well, a year and a half ago, we were kind of guessing at
Excel
customer
sheets,
sentiment.
you come
Right,
forward.
exactly,
You're not
exactly.
alone. You're not
Like
alone.
literally, so my territory, well, a year and a half ago, my territory was different, but right now it spans from like Chicago down through all the way through Mississippi, Alabama, Georgia. So it's yeah, I was literally, I would travel from site to site, which of course I still do. I still visit with my districts, but I would just have this question. I would ask the call agents like, okay, what's the main thing you're hearing every day? What are the customers saying? What are they having issues with? And that's kind of how I built strategy, was just that very anecdotal information that I was literally just boots on the ground trying to gather, and
So
it's
it's
just
here. It was here. This is the voice of the
right.
customer. It's what you
Right,
were told.
exactly. And I mean, not to diminish the insights of the CSRs or the salespeople, because obviously there's always going to be a place for that. But gathering that information now is just so much easier. I don't know what the audience uses, but we use software that actually it's tied into our Google reviews. And so it mines all of this information that's coming in through Google, through our GMB accounts. And it tells us exactly what the number one thing that customers are frustrated by, the number one thing customers are delighted by, like, and it's just a dynamic, constantly updating report that's like, that's not something we would have done a year ago, you know? So it's cool.
Yeah. Does it let you also take action from those insights to within the platform, or connect to like a CRM, or connect to other data systems, like kind of thing?
Yes, so I know for a fact it does. Our CRM is actually internally built and managed. So connecting our CRM with a lot of outside vendor softwares is really difficult, but I know that it does, like for the main ones. And it also has like an AI response generator that like honest to God is better than the responses that I would I would write to customers. So it's really quite something. And that's just an example. I mean, there's a ton of different platforms out there that are just completely changing the way the game is played.
Yeah. And you talk a lot in the article about natural language processing. So what's the impact there, in terms of the role of NLP and sort of understanding, interpreting customer feedback?
Right. So I think the big thing for NLP that we've seen over the last couple of years is the evolution, I guess is the word for it, the evolution of the chatbot, right? I mean, we're like literally on our fifth or sixth iteration of our chatbot because all this AI tech keeps coming out, and machine learning now is like way faster and more efficient than it used to be. And a lot of that is because of the natural language processing algorithms that are built into the software. So that's probably the biggest one is just being able to make our voice bots and chat bots a little more human sounding and a little more conversational. And obviously that's also great for data mining.
Yeah. Now, with all those insights you're gleaning from that, Google integration and the software that you use, are there any like ethical concerns or anything like that that comes up? Because everyone's talking about ethical use of AI, responsible use of AI. So, what's your priority? What's your focus area when it comes to ethics, responsibility, processes, and procedures with AI?
Right. I wish we had like a hard and fast process with this stuff, but it's honestly all coming up so quickly that it's hard to really get like procedures.
The world doesn't have that yet. The global summit leaders, the G7, they're trying to figure it out. Europe's trying to figure it out with the AI Act, and United States, forget it. When we don't even have a privacy law yet, federal.
Right.
So much less AI law.
Yeah. And I think, I mean, for me, the biggest thing, obviously there's like privacy issues and things like that. But here's the thing, we're not having to buy data anymore. And that always feels kind of slimy, right? Yeah. Anyway, when you're out there in the data buying world, and we're not really having to do that because we have all this organic information at our fingertips. And so I think what customers sometimes maybe don't think about when they get a little antsy about the privacy concerns is the fact that it's actually a lot more proprietary now than it used to be in a lot of ways.
Yeah. Yeah, and I know, OpenAI with ChatGPT just came out with an enterprise level subscription, so you can imagine the privacy concerns there. And OpenAI promises that we're not gonna these systems aren't gonna learn about like waste connections and impart that onto the rest of the world like it does now with the regular. Because that's crazy to me. Like it's like the whole internet is on ChatGPT, right? So anything that's been said or done is like up for grabs. But on an enterprise level, do you see those tools infused into your workflows yet? Or is enterprise ChatGPT kind of something you really need to sort of dig deep and figure out for the future?
Yes to both questions.
Yeah.
So actually, yeah, we don't use OpenAI.
Okay.
So I don't really have a lot of experience with that particular software vendor, but we do use very similar tools.
Mhm.
And even at the enterprise level, I think we're just now starting to see how they can be effectively distributed across the enterprise. And when, you know, when you're the third largest of anything in the world, let alone waste and recycling company, that's quite a feat, right? So I
Yeah.
think we're just now getting to that threshold and thinking about how to best carry this out to the whole company. Uh, but uh, but yeah, I think there's always going to be those, you know, there's always going to be the let's hurry up and wait
Right.
mindset when it comes to this
Yeah.
kind of stuff, because you want to keep your finger on the pulse of what's going on and what's trending, but at the
Yeah.
same time sometimes, you know, taking a step back and observing for just a minute, just a beat, before you jump on the latest thing, is we've found that to be pretty valuable, especially when it comes to uncharted territory like like this.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, exactly. So, well, I guess we could end on, just the future of VOC with AI, where do you see it going? And what are some things that excite you as a CX and marketing leader about infusing AI into a voice of the customer type of program?
yes, great question. So I mentioned earlier speech analytics, and when I say speech analytics, I mostly mean our contact centers. So a lot of our customers, as I'm sure is the case with a lot of other industries as well, are still calling us. As many tools and stuff as we give them digitally to reach us, they do still like calling us.
Yeah.
And so that's historically just been like, you know, mountains and mountains of recordings that if we
Yeah.
really wanted to make sense of any of that data, it's not possible, like that's not
No,
feasible, right?
no.
So now with the onset of speech analytics, I'm really excited to see how that develops into kind of obviously capturing data in real time with real conversations between two real people, and then structuring that data in such a way that, you know, maybe my thought process is we can look at our largest customer accounts and know exactly after each phone call where they are in terms of their satisfaction with us and with our services. And that will give us a lot of insight into what we can do proactively to really help our big accounts and all of our customers really. So I think that's the thing I'm the most excited to see develop, because yeah, like I said before, it's one thing to have to go through a bunch of text and mind stuff. That's not nearly as difficult as having to go through hours and hours of recorded phone calls.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I'm really excited about that.
Yeah, of course, with bringing in the human at the end of the loop after and like sharing the AI data
Right.
with your contact center leaders and agents,
Yes,
because
exactly.
does this jibe with what you have heard? Like those conversations you said you used to have a
Yeah,
lot with
yeah.
the
And
agents,
on a
right?
very practical level, I think it's going to really help with retention and even acquisition.
Yeah. Well, it's good to see you're still passionate about CX and marketing, even after
Of
bringing in a
course.
human being into the world and
Of
owning your
course.
life. You have a new life now.
Yeah,
So,
it's just expanded. It's just
yeah.
expanded.
Well, best of luck to the family and everybody, of course. Hope for health and happiness. And
Thank
we are
you.
so glad you're back.
Thank
You kind of
you.
never left. You were still keeping in touch with us, giving quotes for articles and stuff. So we are so thrilled about that. Brianna Langley Henderson, Waste Connections. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you, Dom.
I have a good one.
You too.